Candice, welcome to AIME TV. Can you tell us a little bit about your story and what's brought you here to AIME TV land?
My story is a story of forgiveness, and it is my father, when I was 9 months old, was killed by an apartheid assassin by the name of Eugene de Kock. And of course, I grew up without a father, and it was very hard on me. But when I was 23, I decided to go meet Eugene in prison, and I forgave him. And I advocated for his parole, which he later got. I was very sickly, and I was stressed out, and I was miserable. And I think at around 16, I decided that I needed to change my life. So when the opportunity came around, when I was 23, to go and see Eugene, I think that was like the test. Did I really forgive this person? And I was really nervous, to be honest. I was like, maybe I didn't. What if I see him and I just want to kill him? But we sat down, he ran us through everything. And after everything was said and done, I just thought to myself, you know what? We're two victims looking at each other, and I can't leave this room without telling him I forgive him.
Can you remember his reaction?
Yeah, so I mean, it wasn't only me, it was my whole family who was there, and everyone individually would say, I forgive you, I forgive you. And it got to me, and I said, Eugene, you know, I want to say I forgive you, but before I say that, I want to ask you one question. And he looked at me and he said, okay. And I said, you know, do you forgive yourself? And he looked around and he had a tear in his eye and he quickly dabbed it. And he said, every time I see a family, that is the one question I hope they never ask me. And he said, when you've done the things I've done, how can you forgive yourself? And I just bawled and cried and cried. And then I said, you know, I forgive you. And he was like, we were all just emotional in the room at that time, and yeah.
Define forgiveness for us.
Forgiveness is letting go of the emotional attachment that you have to a situation. So it's not forgetting it, it's not condoning it. It's just saying, I am no longer controlled by this situation. I'm no longer going to think back on it and be angry and be aggressive and let it trigger me. So it's really letting go of the trigger point that you're attached to a certain event in your life. So that's what forgiveness is to me.
What would you say to, you know, other black kids on the side of the camera, whether it's in America or Australia or Uganda, who through years and years and years have lost all sense of trust in white people?
It's a hard one. It's a really hard one. I think for me, what I did is, and I don't want to paint everyone with the same brush, but what I personally did was I blamed one person for the actions of that, you know, individual. I didn't attribute everything he did to the entire white race. I said, okay, you lived under a certain system, you were oppressive under that system, you did a really crappy thing under that system. You know, I think it's really important not to look at people as a blanket, you know, just like you don't want to be looked at as just like, I represent all black people. I don't think it's fair to look at any other race and attribute, you know, the actions of one person to every single person.
What's driving you now? I
think for me, the more people I can touch, and the more people I can just trigger a thought in and just say, you know, you have the power over your life. You know, not all of us are dealt different cards, and those cards can be awful, but it's what you do. You are responsible for your reaction, and you are responsible for where you go. You know, you can't be imprisoned by one incident. You can't let one thing define your entire life. You know, so if I can do it and I'm not special, then everyone out there can do it too.
Candice, thank you for joining us on AIME TV. You're a champion.
Thank you so
Good
much.
On you.
I'm so happy to be here.
See you guys. What a legend.